Like that "you only had one job" meme, your email subject line only has one job: to get people to open it, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, they're critical, but there is an elephant in the room secret that you need to keep in mind as you craft your email newsletter strategy and your subject lines, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Comment below with that heck yes if your goal is to be more consistent or maintain the consistency you already have in your email marketing this year. I think this video will help you out with that. I'm going to take you through 7 email newsletter subject line formulas that really work. Stay tuned to the end. I'm going to tell you how to get your hands on dozens of email subject line swipes ready to go. Get your screenshot trigger finger ready, because I'm going to show you lots of different swipes along the way that you can feel free to screenshot and use in your own email marketing. If this is your first time here, hey there, my name is Ashlyn Carter. I help creatives like you make more money with your words as a conversion copywriter and brand and launch strategist. I'm gonna go ahead and come out of the gate right now with the big secret that I teased at the top of this video. Your goal is to make your subject lines obsolete. Say what? Here's the thing. You want to build that know, like, trust factor with your audience in your email marketing, just like you're working so hard to do in every other facet of your marketing. So much so that when you send an email, they see your name or your business's name and they click open immediately because they're so excited to hear from you. That is the chef's kiss goal that you're after with your email marketing strategy. By the way, we're going to focus on email marketing strategy for the month of January. So if you want to get in on those videos and be the first to find out when they release, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it. But yes, when they see your name in that from field or whatever variation of your sender name you're using that day, you want them to say heck yes and click and open that. But being able to write those subject lines is critical. And I'm going to tell you all about the reasons why here in these 7 formulas. So number 1, the curiosity plus benefit formula. This is the classic little black dress of subject lines. You've gotten it in your email inbox already today, I guarantee you. This one's the classic because you're not going to tick people off with it. More on that in a minute. But the subject line is so relevant and tied to exactly what is inside that email in the body copy. The email is a perfect fit to the subject line. There's no bait and switch or even semblance of bait and switch. I'm going to put some examples of these up over to this side, but here's the formula. Essentially, I want you to think something intriguing or curiosity invoking. Think usually if you need to start it with how, that's helpful. How-tos always do well. Plus the benefit that your audience wants. Again, these examples may help, and don't be afraid to screenshot and steal these and try to templatize them for your own business. Now, not always, but sometimes I see a headline that prompts what I want to say in the body copy. I tend to work the reverse of the way. Even for my clients, I tend to work that opposite way. But I wanted to throw that out there because some of these may trigger an idea and you think, oh, I have an entire email body copy idea that I could use based off that subject line. Go for it. Now, before I get into formula number 2, I want to go ahead and talk about the weirdest quirk about email marketing that I know of. I remember exactly where I was sitting when I first learned this, when I was looking at the data, and I thought, like, there's something wrong with my eyes. I'm not looking at this. I need more coffee. What is going on? This is a weird reason why your subject lines matter. They can greatly affect your click-through rate. And I know we always focus on so much on the open rate. That's kind of a vanity metric. Open rates are extremely inaccurate. Just think about how many emails you open, and the minute you open it, you decide to trash it, you're not gonna read it, or you may use a tool like Unroll Me, which I actually love using. That messes with this. Email services are embedding an invisible image into an email when it's sending it out in a marketing campaign, and then it's gonna track and see if that little image was downloaded. Great in theory, not super accurate. It can be absolutely skewed. What you need to worry about way more than your open rate is your click-through rate, or the sales conversions from that email, or the engagement rate from that email. That is more important. Now, you would think that your email subject line has way more of an effect on that open rate, but it actually has more of an effect on the click-through rate. This is as weird as it sounds. Here's what this may mean for you. Whenever I'm going into my email marketing platform and gonna test 2 different subject lines, I'm going to test for the metric of the click-through rate. I'm not gonna worry so much about testing it for the open rate, because that typical subject line difference will be somewhere between 1 and 15% usually, but the click-through rate can change drastically, even if the body copy doesn't change at all. Bottom line here, start worrying way more about your click-through rate than you do your open rate. But still split test your subject lines. Most email platforms make it pretty easy to at least plug in 2 different subject lines and see which one works. Here's an example I want to show you of that in action. So this is an A/B split test sent in the Infusionsoft platform, but what I was testing was this subject line versus this subject line. Absolutely 0%, nothing changed in the body copy, but you can see that the winner was a little higher over here. And that's what is just so interesting to test and see. Also, like I said, I would have I don't know, I would have thought this one would have won just because it has a little bit more personality and it uses the word you, but this one won. So that just, again, proves always test things. Also, I believe you'll find you're way worse at predicting subject lines than you think you are. I swear every time the one I think is going to win ends up being the loser. Email is weird. Number 2, open loop. This is a cousin to the curiosity and benefit formula. And here I want you to open the door with that subject line to whatever you're gonna close the door to in the body copy of your email. The difference between the first one that we went over is that curiosity benefit, it can absolutely be okay for the answer to that question that you pose in the subject line to be after the click, after the jump. But with an open loop subject line, you're gonna tick a lot of people off if you don't answer that question directly in the email body copy. That is the rule, okay? You have to close the loop. I think this is gonna make a lot more sense when I show you some examples. Here are 7 examples over to the side of what this could look like for you. You'll see the word this is pulled in a lot. And do you understand how open loop flirts a little bit on the line of clickbaity if you're not careful? That's why it's so imperative that when you actually write this email that you're answering that question and you're not going to bother people or make them feel like you're annoying or spammy and just trying to get them to open an email, but you're actually supplementing that with an answer. It's like a cliffhanger of a subject line. It piques the interest of the reader. They want to find out the rest of the story, so they open the email and they get it. Number 3, make up a branded phrase. If you're inside copywriting for creatives or you've learned how to write sales pages for me, you have heard me say this before. But what I want you to do is come up with a sweet name for your process, your topic, your method, your curriculum point, the way you do things. Then I want you to go ahead and brand it by capitalizing the letters of it or putting quotation marks around it or somehow showing that this is now a thing. If you've been on my email list at all, you've seen me do this all the time with bullet copy. I definitely do this on long form services pages, sales letters, so on and so forth. It's a great tactic to have in your back pocket because essentially no one is the name police and gonna get mad at you for making a phrase out of your own insight. So go ahead and do it. Technically, this is called a neologism. You're making up a word. Again, here are some examples to show you what I mean. Once you come up with some of these, then you can bake them into that curiosity plus benefit formula that we talked about in number 1. Number 4, the challenger. This one goes a little bit more towards that shock and awe factor. Nothing too crazy, but we're just gonna challenge the notion that your reader is holding in their head. Here's an example to tell you what I mean. One Black Friday weekend, I got an email subject line that said, "This has nothing to do with Black Friday sales." Well, duh, I opened it because it stood out in everything that was in my inbox. See what I mean? It's a challenging subject line that took the notion that I was holding in my head during that time period and it contested that notion. To write this, I want you to think of what you would say in the subject line, think of the opposite of it and riff on that. Examples just always make more sense, so here are some of those. This is a great one to plug into a split test, one that says the opposite of what you probably would be expected to say. Number 5, a call out subject line. These are the qualifiers. We want your readers to self-select and raise their hand if this is one that pertains to them. Think read this if you, or open this if, watch this if, only open this if. This is a great one to have in your back pocket if you're thinking of segmenting out your list or seeing about how many people would be interested in a certain thing. I used this technique back in early 2020 when I was trying to discern how much of my email list was interested in being a copywriter, and I was absolutely amazed at the engagement from the email. I had no clue. Great for ideas like that. Number 6, the no surprise inside. Unlike the open loop subject line, this email newsletter subject line tells you exactly what is inside that email. Again, keep this one back pocket. This is one for when you're not messing around and you really need that person to get whatever it is. This works well for a delivery email, a welcome email, a weekly status report, even for an email that's part of an ongoing campaign. Again, for more examples for you to see what that could look like. And that brings me to number 7, the family subject line, one that you look like you'd get from a friend or a family member. For this one, look for inspo just in your personal inbox. I got one from my dad one time that just said driving. It stood out in my inbox. I opened it, realized it was from my dad telling me to be a safe driver. I got an email from a marketer today that just said up for fun, question mark. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about with this. Here's one bonus tip that goes along with subject lines. See if you can put a link in your email that actually matches the same copy that you're using in your email subject line. So take that, pop it out, put it in your body copy and make that a hyperlink. That can help with that click-through rate we were talking about earlier. And like anything we talk about over here, test it. Copywriting is an art and a science. And like I said, if you're like me, you may be worse at predicting subject lines than you think you are. If you want even more ideas for your subject line swipe file, then look down below and you can get your hands on my freebie of 37 different subject line swipe file ideas for your copy bank. Yes, you can reverse engineer any subject line that comes into your inbox, but if you don't understand the principles and the psychology that is behind it, it can be a little bit hard to apply those and see the results result that you want. So I hope this video helped you out. If you liked it, let me know by clicking the like button, subscribing below, and commenting with any questions that you may have. Here's to working from a place of more rest, less hustle, and I'll see you in the next one.